Oh, hey there. Who am I? I am nobody. And it's Sober October Update 12. Um, I've been struggling to make this video for a while. I knew I was going to have to make it at some point. So I want to talk about mental health issues and stuff. And the big one I've had to confront myself and spend a lot of time over the last few days thinking about is loneliness, which isn't in of itself a mental health condition, but it's definitely can lead to several or is caused by several. So we'll go over some basic stuff first. What is loneliness? It's, people feeling isolated and disconnected from others, which is typically how I feel most of the time. It's a complex state of mind. A lot of people don't realize it. There's a lot going on when you're lonely, especially at my level. A lot of different things can bring it on. There's no like one root cause. It could be anything, like a change in your life, like death in the family or breakup, or something goes wrong at work and you're stuck in that situation. Maybe it's your living situation. The housing crisis in the city right now is probably putting a lot of people under stress and loneliness, which leads to, of course, mental health and physical symptoms. The mental health side, well, we'll do the physical first, I guess. Like, so quickly, like high blood pressure, heart disease, obesity, cognitive disorders. Yeah, it's hard to keep my train of thought. Alzheimer's, which is fantastic. My grandfather died of that, so something to look forward to. And something people probably don't associate a lot with loneliness is death. Because you can have some pretty dark thoughts and go some pretty strange places when you're by yourself all the time, which leads to the mental side of it, of course, depression, anxiety, both things I suffer from massively. I have massive anxiety right now. I really don't want to make this video, but I feel like I have to. Sleep is another big thing. I can't get my sleep under control. My insomnia is out of control. So when it comes to loneliness, and the connection to Sober October, of course, is self-medication. Stuff people do to medicate their own loneliness or their lows. Of course, booze and drugs, illegal or prescription. You know, food is another way to self-medicate. Cigarettes, of course. Self-sexual abuse, which I won't really get into. You can Google that. And it all just provides short-term relief. You're never really facing the issue, which is what I've been doing a lot of the last couple days. And this might be the last nice day for a while, so a lot of these might be indoors after this. Might be the last nice day of the year. So the big part I wanted to get off my chest and why I'm having so much anxiety is my practical example for loneliness from my own life, and that's my relationships with women. Specifically, like headed in the intimate direction. I have some female friends, and I get along great with them because it's never been an issue. So, I guess there's some truth to what they say. You attract what you are, or the energy put out is the energy we return. So a lot of the women I've attracted, they have their own poor relationships with men, right? Like, be it from abuse or substance abuse or poverty or whatever the case may be. It seems like I always find the ones that just want to exploit me or take me for a ride and give little in return. But again, that reflects more on me than them, because I see it. Like, there's a big misconception when it comes to people with mental illnesses, which I'll touch on briefly here, is that for some reason there's a stigma that assumes you're of lower intelligence, that you can't reason things out, you can't logically see what's going on. And I'll tell you, I'm not stupid. I see it. Like, I can usually tag somebody pretty quick, but the problem is my loneliness steps in, and then I overreact. Like with my friends and family, like I'm a pretty generous guy when I can be, or at least thoughtful, I guess, considerate. And like I'll just, if I see something while I'm out and it's cheap, even if I have no money, I'll still pick it up for someone and just give it to them. There's no rhyme or reason behind it. I just thought of that person when I saw it, so I bought it for them, right? It's not a big deal until I get myself in a position with a woman where I have interest and I believe they do too, and then it accelerates and it comes off as like needy, and it probably is on some level. Um, and I wish I could fix it. I thought I entered the last one better. I tried to be more assertive and aggressive, and it just fell apart like it always does. And we all default back to what we're used to, our typical behaviors, right? So typically with the women I find, they default back to whatever their problem is, and with men, and then I default back to how I always default back to with women. And like I said, it's largely driven by loneliness. I'm sure everyone's been lonely once in a while, or at least most of us have. But decades of loneliness can make your mind go to some really strange places, and it's really hard to have hope in these types of situations. So you delude yourself, you convince yourself that no, this time's different. This time it's going to work out. This time something's going to happen, and it just never does. And people say the cure of the loneliness, or some people say, I shouldn't say this is like generally accepted or anything, but the cure of the loneliness could be loving yourself, which I just can't get my head around. It just is hard I try. No one hates me more than me. So, and that's where I guess I come ahead on some people's scorecards, is because I definitely self accountability is huge, and I usually dump it all at my own feet, regardless of what they're putting out there. Even if I'm 100% in the right and they're 100% in the wrong, somehow I'm going to make it my fault, and it's just the way my brain works. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy, right? So it's kind of the point of this channel, especially with relationships with women. I tend to put the individual before myself, to the point of harm to my own well-being, and it's something I've realized I need to stop. So the best advice I can give, if you're kind of in the same boat, or you find you meet people and the relationship isn't going the way you want it to go, just end it. Don't be a dick about it. Your goals aren't aligned, your interests aren't the same, like your motivations, whatever word you want to throw in there, it's not meant to be, and I guess that's okay. It's just easier to accept it logically than emotionally, and that's the hard part. If you're the one that got invested, still do it for yourself. So I've decided to try and help those I can't see, and maybe in some way help myself. So yeah, so I normally don't do the whole like subscribe thing, but this one was hard for me, so I'd appreciate it if anybody out there would share or comment. I'd love to hear from you, and if your own stories or what have you, or you think this might help someone else, just hearing it. Yeah. So thanks.